Imagine this. Your wife isn't just cheating on you. She's turning your own kids into her allies, making you feel like a stranger in your own home. I thought I knew my family, but it turns out I was just a pawn in her game. Everything fell apart one night when I found out about Justin. But that was just the beginning. Ready to hear how I turned her perfect life to ashes? My name's Michael, I'm 36, and I thought my life was perfect. Job, family, kids, the usual. My wife, Anna, is 34, and we've been married for 12 years. We had Kevin, 10, and Lily, 8. And while marriage isn't always easy, I thought we were handling things. Like a ship in a storm. Rocky, but still going forward. I never expected our ship to sink. Those small issues, who forgot the milk, who didn't pick up the kids, it all felt normal. Little fights, nothing serious, just part of marriage. But about a year ago, everything started crumbling. Slowly. At first, Anna seemed distant. I thought it was her job. Late hours, complaints about deadlines. She said it was all for the kids, so I didn't question it. I figured it would pass. We'd go on vacation, and things would return to normal. But it didn't. Things got weirder. Kevin and Lily, once excited to see me, started avoiding me. We used to play superheroes, build pillow forts, race bikes. Now, they looked at me like a stranger. It hurt. I told myself they were just growing up, but deep down I knew something was wrong. Anna wasn't much help. "Kids grow up," she'd say, like that explained the coldness, short answers, and their need to walk away when I tried talking to them. Then Anna began disappearing more in the evenings, always with the same excuse: work. And I believed her. Or maybe I was just fooling myself. But then the kids started saying things like, "Mom says you wouldn't understand," or "Mom's always right." I knew those words weren't theirs. They had to come from Anna. She wasn't just distant anymore. She was trying to isolate me from them. Every night it became clearer. I was being pushed out of the life I thought was mine. Picture this. I'm sitting in the living room, holding a cup of coffee, trying to enjoy a rare moment of silence. Anna's gone out somewhere, leaving her phone on the table. Everything's normal, a typical scene where I'm not expecting anything special. And then, bam! Her phone lights up. The screen flashes, and I, completely by accident, let's make that clear, I looked by accident, see a message. You get it, right? I'm not the kind of guy who goes through other people's texts, but you wouldn't be able to resist either. Because on the screen, there was a name that instantly made alarm bells ring. Justin. Come on, we both know there's no Justin in our circle. Immediate thought, who's this guy, and why is he texting my wife? But of course, I try to stay calm, not letting myself get worked up. Maybe it's just a friend from work or, I don't know, an old acquaintance they hadn't talked to in a while. Like, "How's it going?" Or, "Let's catch up over coffee." You know, the usual text. But everything went sideways when I accidentally read the text. It said, "I miss you when you're with him." No way! My heart stopped. A split-second pause where you don't know what to do next. You know that feeling when an inner voice tells you, "Dude, you've got a problem." But you're trying to find 1,000 reasons why this could be anything but a disaster. Maybe it's a joke, I tell myself. Or, sometimes autocorrect messes things up. Of course, this is just a misunderstanding, right? But no. My brain started processing all the possible scenarios. Maybe he's her friend's brother? Maybe he owes her something, and this is just an accidental text. My imagination was running wild, but all along, I felt, no, Michael, this is something dirty. You know how your mind and instinct sometimes fight each other? Your mind says, relax, it's nothing. But your instincts whisper, bro, something's off. I still couldn't bring myself to say anything. Imagine how weird it would have looked. I'm in the kitchen, sipping coffee, and suddenly I start asking, "Hey, Anna, who's Justin and why does he miss you when you're with me?" Yeah, great plan, Michael. You're a master of diplomacy. But instead, I decided to be sneakier, like a spy in my own home. You know, those who say they don't snoop on their significant others are either lying or completely oblivious. Anyone who's ever felt something off in their relationship has played detective at least once. So I decided, time to turn on Sherlock Holmes mode. Sure, I'm not a hacker or a professional investigator, but honestly, who wouldn't want to know what's really going on? Especially when a message like that is staring you in the face. I knew that just accusing her out of the blue would be stupid. I needed proof. I needed facts. After all, I had just one message, and who knew what it could mean? Maybe it really was innocent. Maybe not. But I wasn't about to jump to conclusions just yet. Okay, here's where the real spy game begins. You ever feel like a paranoid mess, but know your suspicions aren't baseless? That's where I found myself. After seeing that message from Justin, I started paying closer attention to Anna. Not in a stalker way, but let's just say I was keeping an eye out. And here's what I noticed. She started disappearing more and more in the evenings. Every night, the same excuse. Oh, work, clients held me up. Come on, Anna. I get you might have deadlines, but working late every night and coming home after 11? That raises some serious questions. At first, I tried to brush it off as another phase. Maybe she really was swamped. But when you're eating dinner alone every night and your wife is out working more than people hit the gym, you start realizing something's off. Sure, I could have just asked her directly, but I knew she'd brush me off like she had before. And at some point, I decided I'd had enough of playing the naive husband. It was time to act. I downloaded a spy app for her phone so I could see her messages. Yeah, I know, not exactly the most honorable move, but let's be honest. When you suspect you're being played, moral dilemmas take a back seat. I'm not proud of it, but at that moment I needed the truth. And here's what I found. I'll be honest, my hands were shaking when I opened her messages. I thought maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, right. Every night while I sat at home, Anna was busy texting sweet nothings to Justin. Flirting, emojis, hugs through text. All of it was there. I miss you. I can't wait for our next time together. Oh, come on. This wasn't just friendship. And it sure as hell wasn't work. She was talking to him like he was her boyfriend, not some old friend. I sat there in disbelief. Have you ever seen something so ridiculous and painful that your body just shuts down for a second? That was that moment for me. I couldn't just confront her immediately. I needed a plan. If you're going to expose the truth, you've got to do it right. But as soon as the moment came, I couldn't hold it in. One night, when she came home late again, I decided to stop holding back. Calmly, without any drama, I asked, Anna, why are you coming home so late every night? Who's Justin? At that moment, she froze. I thought maybe she'd start making excuses, trying to explain. But no. What does Anna do? She laughs. Not just smirks or snickers. She literally starts laughing. Can you imagine that? Your wife, clearly hiding something, starts laughing like I just suggested we fly to space for the weekend. And then she hit me with, Are you spying on me? You've got some paranoia issues, don't you? Like I'm the one being weird here. That was a gut punch. She looked at me like I was the one acting strange. Sure, Anna, the problem is me, not your nightly texting with some guy named Justin. And that laugh, that condescending laugh meant to belittle everything, was the final straw for me. This wasn't just friendly texts. No, she was really trying to push me out of our life. I started thinking back to all the little things over the past months. How the kids had been avoiding me more. How Anna kept pretending everything was fine, while I felt like an outsider in my own home. Every day, it became clearer and clearer. She was building a wall between me and my family. And that's when I realized. This was the end of the life I once knew. But giving up? No way. Over time, things got even worse, if you can imagine that. Kevin and Lily, my own kids, started saying things that definitely weren't their own thoughts. You know when your kids suddenly turn into echoes of someone else, and you realize that someone else is their mother? It's like a zombie apocalypse, but without the zombies, just brainwashing. 1 minute, you think you're talking to the same kids you've known all their lives, and the next, they're saying things that are, to say the least, out of character. At first, it was little things. Kevin, usually so lively, said, Mom knows best. Lily, who used to hug me every night before bed, suddenly said, You just don't understand us. Hold up. That's definitely not their usual way of talking. They never used to say stuff like that, and I couldn't ignore it. What was this? Some new phase? At 10 and 8 years old? Unlikely. This was all Anna. She was turning them against me, planting her thoughts in their heads like a virus. But do you know when I really felt like things were spiraling out of control? When they refused to go on our family outing. It was a tradition for us. We'd all go to the park, play ball, eat ice cream, laugh like a team. They used to jump for joy at just the mention of a trip to the park. But now? No, Dad. Mom said we have other plans. Other plans? Really? I felt abandoned. It was like betrayal. Like your own family had turned their backs on you, choosing someone else. And then I started feeling like I had become a stranger to them. My own kids were choosing not me, their father, but someone else. Someone I didn't even know. That someone was Justin. And then I found out the truth. Turns out, while I thought they were just busy with their plans, Anna was actively bringing Justin into their lives. Yeah, the same Justin I found out about from that message on her phone. Guess where they were when they turned down the family outing? Can you guess? That's right, they spent the entire day with Justin. Not with me, their real dad, but with some guy who suddenly became the family friend. Bald or not, who cares? What matters is that he had suddenly become part of my kids' lives. He wasn't just some random guy anymore. He was actively spending time with them behind my back. That's when I realized it had gone too far. Anna had brought this guy into our family, like it was normal. She let him spend the day with my kids while I was left out. That was the final straw. I felt like my heart was being ripped out. You realize you're losing your connection with your own kids, and it's all because of some random guy you've never heard of, and they already see him as part of their lives. Have you ever felt so helpless? When you realize your family's slipping away from you and there's nothing you can do? That was brutal. I couldn't just sit back and watch as my life was torn apart anymore. You see, when all this started, I tried to convince myself that it was temporary, that Anna was just tired or that, like any couple, we were going through a rough patch. I wanted to believe that everything would somehow work itself out. But all that time, a storm was brewing inside me. Every evening, when she came home late and tossed out her work held me up excuse, I felt the crack in our relationship getting wider and wider. It was like a silent explosion that lasted for months. Let's be honest, I held on for too long. Maybe I lasted longer than I should have. I tried to be patient, tried to convince myself it would all get better. But when you see your own kids turning away from you, choosing some random guy over their father, when they start quoting their mother like it's scripture, and you become nobody to them, that's when your patience runs out. My patience was on the edge of explosion. This wasn't just anger. It was frustration mixed with hurt and disappointment. At some point, I realized this couldn't go on. Either I took control and did something, or I would completely forget what it meant to be a husband and father. I felt like I was losing everything I had spent years building. This was a turning point. That evening, when she came home late again, I was ready. I sat in the living room, outwardly calm, but inside, a volcano. I wasn't going to stay silent any longer. I knew I had to tell her everything, directly, no beating around the bush. When she walked in, I didn't even get up from the couch. This was the moment when I didn't care anymore what she'd say or do. I was going to lay it all out. Holding back my anger, I asked her a simple question. Who's Justin? And why the hell are my kids spending time with him behind my back? I said it calmly, but inside I was seething. My mind had already started picturing me throwing something across the room, shouting, letting out all the anger I'd built up over the months. But on the outside, I stayed cool. I needed to hear her answer. And what do you think she did? She laughed. Not just smirked or gave a sarcastic chuckle. She literally started laughing. Like I had just told her a joke about a llama or suggested we go to Mars for the weekend. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind, like my question was complete nonsense. Really, Anna? You're laughing in this moment? This was the point of no return. But it seems my question stopped being funny to her quickly, because her laugh turned into aggression. She stopped laughing, and with a look of contempt, she spat out. You really think you were a real father to them? You're just a convenient wallet. That was a low blow. At that moment, I felt my heart sink. A convenient wallet. Well, thanks, Anna. Turns out, all these years, I wasn't a husband and father. I was just a walking ATM. And everything I did for them, all the effort, was reduced to money. But that wasn't the end. Anna didn't stop there. As if that wasn't enough, she added, Justin loves me and them in a way you never could. You get that? She said it with a look like she was just stating the obvious. Like the whole world always knew I was a lousy dad, and only Justin could truly love my kids. Have you ever felt like someone stabbed you in the chest and then started twisting the knife? That's how I felt. Every jab of hers was another hit to my pride. Every word was like a new wound. It was like someone took all my efforts, all my love, all the work I'd put into our family, and just tossed it in the trash. Like everything I did was completely useless. Like I'd been living in some kind of delusion all this time. I sat there staring at her, and one thought kept running through my mind. How did this happen? How could I have lost everything I thought was mine? How could I have been so wrong about the person I'd spent so many years with? This was the moment of total collapse. My mind began to crumble, but despite all the pain, I understood one thing. Giving up wasn't my style. Anna might have thought she'd won. She might have believed that her laughter and aggression would throw me off, that I would just give up. But no, I knew this fight was just getting started. That's when the real game began. I decided, if she's playing dirty, then I'd play by her own rules. I started gathering evidence. No, this wasn't just a couple of screenshots to make a point. I went full-on detective mode. Gained access to her phone? Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but when someone throws a Justin at you, morals take a back seat. I copied all their conversations. You should have seen those messages. It was like reading a bad romance novel. I miss you. Can't wait to see you. And the most disgusting part. They were talking about me and the kids like I was the third wheel in their little world. Come on, Anna. Did you really think I was that stupid and wouldn't notice anything? By that point, I was boiling inside, but I decided it wasn't time to throw words around. I wanted to do this right. My goal wasn't just to win the kids back. That was only part of the plan. I was going to tear her perfect little world apart so thoroughly that she'd never think she could just erase me from her life. The next step was hiring a lawyer. You know, I'm not a huge fan of legal battles, but when it comes to your kids, you'll do anything. My lawyer was better than anyone you've seen on TV. Together, we started crafting a strategy. Sure, Anna might think she won the battle, but I had a plan to win the war. The plan was simple. File for divorce and prove her unfit as a mother. Sound harsh? Did you think I'd sit back and watch her play with my kids? No way, Anna. You weren't going to erase me from this picture that easily. The family dinner was the evening I had been waiting for. The moment of truth. The whole family was there, like it was supposed to be a typical holiday, with warm hugs and empty conversations about the weather. Oh no, folks, today was going to be a show they wouldn't forget. I sat there, pretending I was all in on discussing who added how much salt to the mashed potatoes. But in my mind, all I could think about was when the perfect moment would come to strike. Everyone was at the table, staring down at their plates, when I finally spoke. You know, I started, and everyone immediately froze. Anna and I have a little drama going on here. That's when the panic hit Anna's eyes. You should have seen her face. She knew this was the end. Let me tell you all a story, I continued. The room was tense. I started calmly, but with purpose. Our dear Anna isn't as devoted a wife as you all might think. While I've been busy trying to be a good father and husband, she's been having some fun with a guy named Justin. I pull out my phone, open the pictures of their texts, and start showing everyone at the table. And that's when the real show began. Anna's parents sat there in shock, their faces turning from pink to white, like they'd just seen a ghost. Her sister, poor thing, couldn't hold back. Tears just started streaming down her face. Honestly, I even felt a little bad for her. But Anna, oh, Anna went pale, like she was about to throw up right on the table. And then I landed the final blow. You didn't just betray me, but you took the kids away from a real father for this worthless piece of trash. Silence. The entire room froze as if time had stopped. No one saw this coming. Anna sat there, as if she'd been caught red-handed. She didn't say a word. Everyone knew. This was her downfall. In that moment, she lost everything. Her family turned against her, and soon the kids would know the truth too. I had won, and now she had to face the reality she had been avoiding for so long. After that dinner, Anna broke. Seriously, she didn't even try to fight back or explain herself. You know, there are those moments when all you can do is sit and watch your world fall apart. That was her moment. As soon as I filed for divorce, she didn't make a single move to contest it. It seemed like she knew I'd taken all her cards. Of course, the first thing I did was win full custody of the kids. Yeah, Anna, did you think you could turn them against me? Not this time. The court sided with me quickly, since I had all the evidence. And Justin? That guy vanished so fast, he didn't even leave a trace. He probably realized he'd gotten mixed up in a messy situation and decided to bail before his reputation got as trashed as Anna's. Now, here's the sweet part. Her career. Her precious career that she was so proud of. You know how people can get so wrapped up in their work that they forget about everything else? Well, this time, bam! The divorce, the dirty details, and it all dragged her down like an anchor. Reputation? Destroyed. Respect from the family? They now looked at her like they never knew her. Imagine this. They used to praise her every achievement. And now? Complete silence. Nobody wants to deal with someone who's fallen so low. I took everything she had. The house, the kids, the respect. Everything is mine now. And here's the best part. The kids are mine again. Remember how cold they were when Anna tried to isolate me? That's all in the past now. We're spending time together again. Going to the park, building pillow forts like in the good old days. She lost everything. And me? I won.